SalesSheroes. It's Angie, and I am super thrilled to be back with another empowering episode on SalesSheroes podcast. Today, I'm joined by my amazing co-host, LaDonna. How's it going, LaDonna?
It's really great, Angie. How are you?
I'm good. Coming off, end of a month. So again, in sales, month end, right? Everybody's freaking out this week, but all in all, things are good.
Good, good. Yeah, I'm really excited about today's topic. We're going to cover something pretty special to discuss that's been on both of our hearts lately, community. It's a word that's packed with so much meaning, and I know it's something we all need more of in our lives. So powerful, right? We have been chatting about this a lot. So Angie and I have been running the SalesSheroes podcast in a way for she and I to stay connected. We did a big long road trip from the West Coast all the way over to the East Coast together. And we said, hey, how do we stay more connected when we're out and about in our own lives? And we said, let's start a podcast. We have a lot of information. I've been in sales for over 30 years, Angie as well. So you've got over 60 years of collective experience. That makes us sound old. We're not old.
We don't look old.
No, right? We look fantastic. So we wanted to stay connected. And then also we both have servant hearts. So we wanted to gift out the knowledge that we have to help other women in a space that's not salesy, right? We're all salespeople. So as salespeople, I think in transparency, we can really tell when someone is wanting to sell us. And that wasn't the goal of this community. We want to build a community of women supporting other women. Iron sharpens iron. We know that, and that's really important. So now when we're kind of looking back on the past few months of having, how many episodes do we have now, Ange?
I think we're at like 27. This will be 28. Woo woo. Which is interesting
cool.
Because when we started this conversation, our goal was for you and I to stay connected. And then we found how therapeutic this podcast has been for you and I to get on and talk about things in our sales world and personal life and foundational work. But then moreover, now our goal was also to stay committed to like our goal of, let's see if we can put out one a week, right? Now we're halfway through putting out one a week. And even our editor, Austin McKee with McKee Films, even he was like, I can't believe you guys are still running. This is awesome. Every time I listen, this is amazing. And so I'm really proud of us. Just take a plug for a moment. Like we actually set out to do what we wanted to do. We're consistently halfway through our first year. So congratulations.
I love that. Yeah. Halfway mark. So we chatted this morning before we started and we talked about kind of some things that have come up in that 6 months. And the biggest thing is community. Like that's really what our focus has been and how we want to continue moving forward is really bridging the gap for women that feel like they're kind of floating out there on their own. Maybe you're on a team of salespeople and it's predominantly men. Maybe you're on a team of salespeople that's mixed and you're like men, women, and across the US, and you're not connected directly. Like my team, I'm in corporate sales. I also have some things that I sell on the side. My corporate sales team is a mix of men and women, but we're spread out across the Northwest geography of multiple states. And so even though we get together on a quick call on Mondays, generally we're listening to our lead, our manager, talk about the things that he needs to communicate, which is very valid and very relevant and very necessary, but there isn't necessarily that team building and community building. Although my manager is beautiful and wonderful in this, is that like he just sent me to Reno to work with one of our younger female sales reps, and I can build my own community because he supports that. So
I love that.
Yeah, it's really, really great. But I also still kind of feel like I'm floating out there on my own a lot. I run a big geography, a state and a small piece of Washington. And so often I feel like I'm out there kind of trudging alone. And I'm okay with that because I've done it a long time. But I need and want and crave the community of other women. So that's really something that we are going to even emphasize stronger and build some spaces where we can get together, one digitally and in person. And so for now, we're going to start really growing that Facebook group. We've got a Facebook group because that's a free platform for us to just house where everybody comes. So we're not having to charge you to be there. And then as that evolves and grows and that community becomes stronger, we'll figure out maybe a different platform for us all to get together digitally. And then as women want to meet in groups, wherever you're at when you are a part of the SalesSheroes community, then we'll support that. And as Angie and I can travel some, we'll come out to those places. That's the overreaching goal with this, to be really
I love that.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting that you mentioned the team that you're on. And I think it's important because even for me, when I look at what community I want to be part of, right? My time is very valuable and I want to be part of groups that can provide me value, but also can help me, teach me something. I might be able to help to teach them something. And so I think our goal in creating the Sales Shero community also, even for myself, is I want to learn from everyone out there. I know that I'm good in sales, but I want to be better. And I know that I can be better with proper guidance and mentorship. And we talk about all those things. But sometimes I don't need all of that. Sometimes I just want a community where we can chat about, little things. And I'm excited that we're putting that Facebook group together and we're going to start adding all the people to it. So yeah, community is definitely one of the things that can lift us all up and help us grow and kind of support us in ways we never really imagined. So a reflection of how this topic came to be on community for this specific week is when I was at church this last week. It was interesting because we touched on this topic in an extremely profound way. You and I do not hide the fact that we're women of faith. And so occasionally on this podcast, we talk about things that we've learned as it relates to going to church or walking in our faith. But this particular one was really cool because it really got me thinking about how crucial community is, especially for us women in sales.
Yeah, I love that a lot. I love that you bring that up, Angie. Communities, it isn't just about having people around you. It's about having the right people around you. The people that hold up your arms when you're tired, who support your passions and your dreams, and help you stay true to your character. And in speaking on this, Angie and I just finished up a 21-day challenge with a group of women, and we did small group, which was really cool. And we have a workbook that is being published, one for SalesSheroes, that's in the works, and then one for Ascent Leadership, which is a company that I own. And it's really on the foundational tools to prime for your ascent in your life and your business. And so Angie and I just went through that book as kind of a pre-edit to the editor that has it with the publishing house, finishing it up and publishing it. I wanted to make sure that the flow was good. Angie wanted to help make sure the flow was good. This is a piece of content that will start teaching more within the SalesSheroes community, because without a strong foundation, without knowing your priorities, without knowing your values, without knowing what your mission and vision is for your business, for your life, for the things that you're wanting to accomplish, then you get really distracted. It's harder to set boundaries. It's harder to level up in your life. And that's hence the name of the book, Level Up. So in bridging community, what I just want to re-emphasize this. It's not about it's about having the right people around you. But if you don't have a strong sense of what your values are, then you don't necessarily bring in the right people to be lifting you up and empowering you. And just naturally, the women that were, because I've worked this principle and this practice over the last 7 years, naturally the women that said, yes, we'll go through this with you to help you edit and to help you refine and to help you decide which like what the flow is going to be of these 30-day challenges that we run. Because my values are strong, the women in the group were all people that I know or people that know people that I know. And they all had, it was a very symbiotic group of women.
Oh, yeah. It was awesome.
It was awesome. High power saleswomen, every one of us high power saleswomen, looking for community. And I would love for you to kind of touch on that based on what we went through.
It's interesting because when you're a person in sales, you have all these ideas, and we have all these amazing ideas, but we also want to make sure that they align to who we are. And so you taught me the practice of, mission, vision, values. And I know people are like, I don't think I need that. And until you sit down and actually pause and give yourself a moment to go, well, let me think about this. What is my personal mission? What am I trying to do in personal and professional life, right? What is the vision I want, right? Until you start doing that, only then do you really get clarity. And what I love is this group of women, there's only one of them that I knew. The rest of them I did not know. This is my first time meeting them. And one thing at the very beginning is we talked about a sense of community, which is our topic today, and how important it is. And, you know, everyone comes from different shades of life in seasons in their professional career. And one gal was really, we welcome transparency. You know, it's a safe zone, no judgment zone. And one gal piped up and she was like, yeah, I don't really need community. And she was really honest and really frank, and we didn't judge her for it. We were setting the tone for the next 21 days. And I took a note like, okay, she doesn't like community. That's fine. Right. And so the cool part of that is as we worked through and checked in with these women once a week for 3 weeks, and we got to the end, the conversations, first of all, that we had in the middle of this was just awesome to learn from these other women where their gaps are and where their strengths are, and how you and I trying to start a program, how we can see a vision to help women. That is exactly what we are setting out to do. But the cool part for me was at the end, when we kind of recapped with all these ladies, how did they feel, doing a temperature check. One of the gals that had this issue, but one of them was like, I don't really need community. It's not really my thing. I work with the public all the time. She was the first one at the end to say, well, we're still going to talk to each other, right? We're still going to connect, right? And I kind of chuckled inside. I was like, yes, Lord, that's awesome. Because I was like, that is, people panic when they hear the word community. Like, I'm in the public. I don't want to talk to people. I just want to go home. I don't want to do anything. But that was a total test that we saw where her heart and her mind needed community. She didn't think she needed it, but then when she got in it, she was like, heck yes, I need this. So I love this, and we'll move forward on it, but we'll talk about it a little bit more too. But I just love the fact that we did that program, and that the women that chose to walk that step with us found value out of that. And I'm excited to, in future episodes and on our social media, start sharing out to all of our Sheroes what that is so they could get part of it too. So that's what we want to do.
I love that.
Yeah. So you just brought up a second ago kind of about who are the people lifting your arms up when you're tired, and who's helping you support your dreams and staying true to your character. Those are such great questions. And that's what came up for us at church. And if you're a Bible reader, this is from Exodus 17, verse 12. So feel free to go pull that up if you want to know more about it. But it really was, who's holding up your arms when you're exhausted? Who's supporting your heart and your dreams, and who's there to hold you accountable to your values and your character? So these are such powerful reflections, especially in the context of our careers and our personal lives.
I love that. It's so true. Not everyone, especially women in sales, feels supported in their work environment, whether you're single, whether you're in a marriage that isn't positive, or just lacking alignment in life. It can feel incredibly lonely. But that's where the power of community comes in. And sometimes that loneliness, I mean, I just want to touch on this. The loneliness can lead to transitioning out of sales, quitting sales completely. The loneliness might just be isolation, and then your numbers get lower because you are not feeling empowered enough to get out and actually do the job that you're hired to do. So right. That's a really, really, really powerful, it's powerful when you build the right. I've been in community that isn't the right community for me. So it's really important to make sure that your values are aligned in your community. I built a whole business over a 5-year period of time with a company and a group of people that were not in alignment with my values. And it was very painful. And the end to that was really, really, really negative and out of my control. And in that, I learned so many things. The biggest is that I don't stay places that I'm not supported and values aren't aligned, whether that be corporate work, whether that be work I'm doing on the side, whether that be my church, whether that be my family. If my family is not operating in alignment, conversations are had so we can get on the same page about boundary setting and who needs to be supported and loved a bit more. It's really, really crucial that in picking your community that you don't, it's sometimes we have to walk through a season of isolation. I did. I took 5 years off of corporate. I took 5 years off of everything to be with my parents, to help them, support them in a season in their life. And in that, I stopped earning. So I wasn't, and that was a place that I find great. I'm really good at that. And so not having that, it like rattled me to my core. I had to like really, my esteem is not centered around how much money I make or my ability to make money. And so in that time, in that drought, in those 5 years when things were painful and there was less money and there were all the things, as a grown woman, empty nesting, I got really stripped down. Like God stripped me down. And I now have a stronger sense of what I tolerate and allow in my life. And I think that for women, we accept things we shouldn't oftentimes. We maybe
Agreed.
accept a boss that isn't supporting us in a strong way. Maybe we support a company that isn't supporting us the right way because we get stuck and think that that's the place where we need to be because we're earning a lot. Like I speak to that 5 years of building. I was in a corporate position that wasn't for me. And I was in a network marketing company that I was making a lot of money in, and it wasn't for me. And so now I can, and I say this because I everything happens for a reason. And so I really firmly believe that. Like I wouldn't go backward and do that differently. But now I would never stay in anything as long as I did because my esteem is stronger. My value proposition is stronger. All of these all this platform that Angie and I are talking about gifting women foundational tools to really rise to prime for your ascent in your life and your business. I make pivots much quicker and not out of haste, but out of knowledge of what my values are and who my people are and what community I'm going to allow in my psyche and in my space daily.
That's
Powerful.
huge. That's
Yeah.
huge. And I work on this all the time, until you know how to navigate them, you're sitting in that longer, right? I've sat
Yes.
in, friendships a long time, or I've sat in work companies a long time, or even, try to support people that when you have your child come into you and she goes, Mom, why are you doing that? Like, they don't even care. Like, they're not reciprocating. They don't even care that what you're doing, like, stop. So when you have an outsider telling you something, it's like, okay, maybe I need to look at this a little different. I'm too close to this.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think it's great from a sense of the community aspect of it, because whatever it is you're needing in a community, it is a give and a take. You should be able to gift something out, knowledge, insight, support, even if it's just I know in our little community, we'll just do like a text message of, it's a Monday. Here's the things we know we're going to try to achieve today. And then at the bottom, I literally typed, this is to self-help my own brain because I need to self-talk, right? Positive. So I think, looking at that sense of belonging and knowing that someone has your back, that's so important. Someone's there to cheer you on, lift you up when you're down. And it doesn't just apply to work. It really, really can have that support in every aspect of our lives. And I think cleaning out our closets, so to speak, is really helpful. And that's why it's so important for us to be intentional about building and nurturing the communities that we're wanting to be part of.
Yes, totally. And it doesn't have to be large groups. Sometimes just having one or two people who truly understand and support you in every area of your life. I think that's why it's so important for us to be intentional about building and nurturing our communities. We can have overreaching larger communities, but then we can have like really strong core people that keep us aligned. I mean, Angie's one of those people for me, right? That's why this podcast even sprouted out. And a few of the women that were in the group with us are that community for me. So it's really important. The key is being open to firming up those connections and seeking out people who really can fill the roles that you need in your life, but also in addition to that they need in their life. And I think that that's really important. Like we can be strong at boundary setting, which is really, really important. But when someone in our community needs us, when there's a call for help and we see that call for help, I think it's really important to raise your hand and give that time to that, because sometimes we even need to sacrifice a little bit of something else to be able to give that time for that, right? We're busy. Women are busy. Sales women are busy. We all have lives and oftentimes family and other things that pull us in different directions. So really, making sure you're firming up those connections and being able with a servant heart to serve those connections so that when you're in need, right? Not due to get, but so that when you're in need, they're like, wow, LaDonna was really there for me. I need to be there for her. And then be open to saying, hey, I need a little help in community.
Oh,
I'm not
totally.
I don't always recognize that that's what I'm needing, but this last group challenge that we just this did the first group challenge that, you know, we're going to run many more of these. I needed that as much as everyone else needed that. I'm hitting an upper limit in one area of my life. I'm going through menopause, so I'm having some like pretty big challenges around that, around mental clarity, and I just needed kind of a little bit of a wake up call around like the last chapter of the book, which is the last week of the book, which is self-sabotage and upper limits and hitting lids in your life. So it's just really important to
Yeah,
build community that's strong.
that is so true, LaDonna, and I'm glad you touched on that. And for all of our Sheroes out there, I honestly want you to take a moment and reflect on the three questions. Who is holding your arms up when you're tired? Like, who is that?
Love
Who is
that.
holding your heart and supporting your dreams? And who is holding up your character? That's a big one. If
Mm.
you don't have answers to those, it might be time to start building or even reevaluating your community. And I think that's one thing I do want to touch on again, and I said a little bit earlier, for those of you that don't think you really want or need it because you are around people all the time or you're exhausted, and when your world just stops, you just want to be alone. I mean, I get that. I get that as well. But that is fine when you have to do that. But sometimes for an overall long-term success, personally and professionally, you definitely need a life of community. We are not put on this earth to be walking it alone. That is not how it was designed. It was designed for us to be community. Everything that has been successful is because there's been a tribe, ride or die, making it happen. And I feel like this is the basis foundation for you and I. This is what we kind of set out to do was, yes, you and I love to talk to each other. And yes, we're surrounding ourselves by amazing women in different verticals that also have gaps and strengths and weaknesses. But we're all looking kind of for that same support system. So I'm just really excited about this.
Absolutely. If you're feeling like you don't have that support right now, know that you're not alone. There are ways to find and build that community. It could be joining a new group, reaching out to someone you admire, or even reconnecting with old friends who share your values. One of the people that was in the group with us this time was, I'm just going to say Tanya's name directly. She's lovely. I've met her through sales. She sells to the same group of I call on architects and designers, so I've met her through the industry that I'm in with my corporate job, and she said, hey, she reached out and just said, hey, I'd love to meet with you more. I would like to like just kind of bounce ideas off you and maybe do some things together. And I know that your time is valuable, and so if that doesn't work, great. But I was so honored because she's amazing as a human being. And so if she hadn't spoke up and said, hey, I wanted community with her as much as she wanted community with me,
Right.
I would never have known that had she not said, hey, I need community with her just as much as she feels like she needs community with me. And so I have a new friendship that's growing in that. And I love that so much. That's what this is about. And she's such a high quality human being. She's a powerful woman. Just she emulates the value system that I walk in and make attempts at staying true to. And so when you start doing these things and you speak up, people speak up for you and with you. And it's that iron sharpens iron, right?
I love it. I love that. I know. And that you bring up a really good point. We don't want to forget that we can be that person for someone else too. We have the power to lift others up, support their dreams, and hold them accountable in a loving way. And community is a two-way street. And I love that you shared that story because that's the perfect example of what we're trying to get across to everyone today. It is so rewarding to be part of that exchange. And then for me as your friend, and now I've met her, to see that beautiful exchange and relationship, I'm excited to see where you ladies are going to go and what you're going to build together, and just how knowing that she's part of our group and the women that were on there are part of our foundational piece of this community warms my heart, brings tears to you and I, because I know we're very grateful for every one of those ladies that took the time out to help us out.
Yes, totally, Angie. That's what SalesSheroes is all about, creating a community where we can all thrive together. So as you go about your week, think about how you can contribute to your community and how you can allow others to contribute to you. And if you need community, join ours.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that. Remember, Sheroes, you are not alone. We are always here for you, cheering you on every step of the way. So let's continue to build each other up, create the communities that will empower all of us to reach the new heights.
I love that. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. If you found this episode helpful, share it with a friend who might need to hear it. And as always, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Reach out to us on social media and let us know you're building community in your life. You can find us everywhere at SalesSheroes, all the platforms.
Yay! I love that. We're graduating up to all the platforms. Thanks, everybody. Until next time, keep shining.